Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Jerry Kraus is our guest. Jerry, of course, the executive director at the Stanley. And the Stanley is what we're going to be talking about. The Stanley is celebrating a big anniversary this year. Jerry is celebrating a little bit lesser of an anniversary. Just started his 6 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, but the Stanley, boy, they've got a big one coming up, yes?
Big anniversary, 90th anniversary this year. Started way back in 1928.
Mm-hmm. And I know from reading Frank Tomeno's column, because he's written about this, the first show, the first movie down there, silent movie, correct, was Ramona.
It sure was. And it was a full orchestra that accompanied the movie. And that was the big event, September 10th of 1928, the big opening of that beautiful Stanley Theater.
Sell out?
Yeah, and it took about just a little over 1 year to build the theater back then. And when I still walk through the theater, Joe, and I look around, I'm wondering, how did they do it back then without all the modern tools that we have now and the computer blueprints and the drawings? It was skilled craftsmen, and plenty of them.
The Rome Capitol Theater has an organ. Did the Stanley ever have an organ?
Yeah, the pipe organ actually left the theater a few years ago and went over to Proctor High School where it's in storage, but there was one. You know the two cutouts on the sides?
Yep.
When you look towards the stage, pipe organ was in one of those, and then it left before I got there, and it's in storage. But I think a lot of the theaters were around the same years for opening. You know, the Landmark in Syracuse, Capitol in Rome, Proctor's in Schenectady. It was the heyday of big movie houses for vaudeville and movies.
Proctor's in Schenectady is in good shape like the Stanley. It reminds me a little bit of the Stanley.
Same architect, Thomas
Yeah.
Lamb, as is the Landmark, same architect as well.
Mm-hmm. And the all those places that we just mentioned started out as movie houses, Jerry?
Movie houses and vaudeville acts and community events.
And now the Stanley is really a, how would you describe it, multifunctional?
Multifunctional arts center, performances, community events. We do everything from baby showers to large Broadway shows coming through, concerts, comedy shows, the Antique Fest, the Riggy Fest. We got the summer theater camp going on right now. It's just a little bit of something for everybody. That was really my mission when I came in 6 years ago, after being on the board for 4 years, was to make sure the community had access to the Stanley Theater. We wanted everybody to be able to enjoy the theater for productions large and small.
And you've got some, you mentioned theater camp going on now, but you got other stuff coming up this summer and fall?
Yeah, summers are normally quiet times for indoor theaters. Everybody wants to be outside, and there's plenty of outdoor activities. But inside, since right after Boilermaker weekend, we started up our third summer theater camp, Summer on Stage at the Stanley. And this year, it's the full production of Seussical the Musical, which is actually going to be next weekend, Joe, on Friday and Saturday nights at 7:30. We encourage families to come on out, dress up the kids to be like their favorite characters from Seussical the Musical. And it's just $5 for students, $10 for adults. It's going to be a fantastic show. These students, we've got over 30 of them from area high schools. They're fantastic. They really are singing, dancing, performing, building the sets. It's really going to be something to be proud of. And hopefully they will springboard on to do future shows. And who knows, maybe someday we'll have a Hollywood actor or actress or a Broadway performer saying, it all started at the Stanley when I did summer camp.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
The other things that you got coming up in the near future, Jerry. We'll talk about the anniversary in a second.
Yeah.
But other things you got coming up?
Yeah, we've got a blues rock show coming on Saturday, August the 18th. A British band by the name of Savoy Brown. Their leader, Kim Simmons, believe it or not, is living in upstate New York. He's living outside of Oswego. So he's got a band that they do some touring, and I reached out and said, how would you like to come in and play our Stanley Theater? And they were thrilled at that prospect. So we booked the date for Saturday, August the 18th, and something special. When we did a British invasion show a few months back with Joey Molland of Badfinger coming into headline, we put together what we called the Central New York All-Stars, kind of an umbrella group of, we had over 20 local musicians opening up with an hour's worth of British invasion music. It was so well received, and we had so much fun doing it. We decided, let's do that again to open up for the Blues Rock show, because we have so many great, talented musicians in this town. I tell you, Joe, I've been around, you've traveled around. We have singers, guitar players, musicians, bass players, drummers, people that write the songs and perform the percussion and the horn players. We've got so many talented musicians here. I think they stand shoulder to shoulder with anybody in the world. That's why I like to showcase them. So we're bringing back some of the same Central New York All-Stars from before, and we're adding some new names, and it's going to be an hour's worth of blues rock, like from the likes of B.B. King, who's been at the Stanley, Stevie Ray Vaughan, who's been at the Stanley, Eric Clapton, who hasn't been at the Stanley yet, and others, giants of the rock blues world. We're going to have our local musicians do the covers of those songs for the first hour, intermission, then Savoy Brown. So it's going to be a fantastic night. We've got the Mohawk Valley Blues Association involved with us and others. People have asked for some blues music, and we decided let's do it.
You know, I know the answer to this question because I asked you before the show, but is there one performer that sticks out in your mind, local performer, that you'd like to get back here?
Yeah, good timing because he is a blues aficionado, Joe Bonamassa. We've all watched Joe grow up from Yorkville. His dad, Lenny, used to bring him into the bars. We had him on parade floats back in the day, and I had him on the radio with me many, many times. And Joe Bonamassa coming back to the Stanley, he was there opening up for Foreigner, a concert way back. But Joe's schedule takes him around the world and around this country, but we would love to get him back at the Stanley. So we have an open invitation to try to get him to come in. Wouldn't that be great?
Is there a particular event that you're going to do to celebrate the 90th anniversary?
Yes, we just announced this past week, Joe, we've got a 90th anniversary gala coming up on Friday night, October 26th at the Stanley. We're starting at 6 o'clock, and we're calling it a Night of Stars. There's been so many stars in and out of the Stanley Theater over the years, for 90 years. We decided, wouldn't that be a fantastic night, because it's also a night that people in this town can dress up like stars. We'll have the red carpet out. Come on into the Stanley and enjoy this Night of Stars. We're also going to put the spotlight on local stars who have been in the theater, on stage, and part of the history of the Stanley Theater. So it'll be a Night of Stars. Tickets are $75 each, on sale now through the Stanley box office. We're sending out the invitations and the save the date cards, but all the information is also on our webpage, thestanley.org. Our headline band is going to be Classified, and that's going to be a fantastic night. So you can sit in the theater and watch them, get up and dance, or just walk around and look at some of the historical displays we're going to have up, highlighting the stars that have been at the Stanley over the years.
In fact, you brought some posters from some of the people that have been there.
Oh, you have.
And we're going to show some of those posters when we come back.
Show and tell coming up.
Jerry Kraus is our guest. We're talking about the Stanley celebrating 90 years. Short break, right back.